Welcome students to Biology 120 Lab. I'm Dr. Janie Sigmon, your instructor for this term, for this course. I welcome you to the lab. This should be a great term. There's lots of interesting things that we'll be doing with the labs that we have from Carolina Biological. Every Monday, I will post video to help you with your content, to help give you guidance with the labs that you're doing, to give you some hints. Some tutorials. So make sure that you watch my videos every week. They're not long. It seems like, well, you're adding one more thing for us to do, but really I'm trying to help you and guide you through the course. So let me do that for you. If you ever have any questions, use my email address, m.sigmon@snhu.edu, which is down on the bottom of the screen. I am just one email message away. All right, let's get started with what's going on for this week. First of all, you need to get your lab kit from Carolina Biological. Order it through the SNHU bookstore. It should come fairly quickly. I know I had to order a new one because there are some new components to it. So make sure you order your lab kit so that you get it quickly. Next for you to do, Google OpenStax. If you've never used OpenStax before, it's a free textbook website. So open it up and look for the Biology 2nd edition textbook. It's the one that you would use for lecture also if you're taking Bio 120 lecture. And save this location so that you can use it as a resource for this term. It is a great resource. It's very good. And there's lots of good information in it to help you. All right, next you need to introduce yourself in the discussion section. We really only have one required discussion post in this term, in this course, and this is it. So you need to introduce yourself. Tell us which degree program you're in. Tell us what are your career goals. What's your family life, your personal life like? What are your hobbies? What are things that you like to do? Things like that, so we get to know each other in the course. You're going to also answer a question about what is probably your biggest obstacle in taking a course like this. And mine is always time management. I have to set aside specific times in the week in order to get some things done. You will also respond to 2 of your classmates in the discussion section, and you have some deadlines for this. So your initial post must be posted by Thursday at midnight, and your 2 response posts are due by Sunday night midnight. So just so you know, we got to get this done this week, and this is to help us learn who is in our course and to get some support from each other. So take care of that in the discussion section. All right, then you're going to read the lab safety manual from Carolina Biological, and you're going to sign a safety agreement. Do that. It's not graded, but you have to do it, so do that. Also take the safety quiz, also not graded, but you still need to do it. You have to do these labs safely, and some of them have some fairly caustic solutions to them, so you need to follow the safety precautions for each one of the labs. All right, then review the lab report guidelines and rubric. You can find all of them. You can find all the lab reports and all the guidelines and rubrics under the Start Here section, so look for those. You're going to need those. The labs this week have to do with graphing and doing an experiment with some Alka-Seltzer. Complete the lab graphing. You're going to do 2 graphs by hand. You're going to need to print out graph paper, which is included in the lab. Print out the graph paper and do those by hand, and then do an Excel spreadsheet and make graphs with your Excel spreadsheet and graphing feature, and make a linear regression equation. So follow those instructions. The instructions are mainly for using Excel. If you don't have Excel and you have another program like Excel, that is perfectly fine, but the instructions are written for Excel. So if you have Excel, the instructions should help you a lot. Remember always in these labs to turn in one Word document for your lab report. You're not turning in different documents in the lab. One Word document, put it all together in that. You're going to also perform an experiment, like I said, with Alka-Seltzer and different temperatures of water. You're going to see how long it takes the Alka-Seltzer to dissolve in different temperatures of water. So follow the directions there and complete your lab report for that. I will put the Alka-Seltzer old-timey commercial in my announcement so that you can see it. I also have a link right here. But that's why Alka-Seltzer is called the Plop Plop Fizz Fizz experiment, because of this old commercial. All right, and then finally, look at the final project information from Module 3. You're going to go to Ask a Biologist website at Arizona State University, and there are certain labs that you're going to be able to do. You're going to design your own experiment. So take a look at that. Just start looking at that because you're going to need to do that. This final project we'll be doing week 7, which just as a heads up for you, if you also are in the lecture, Bio 120 lecture, you have a final project due that week also. So you have to get this done in stages, and if you can get this done ahead of time, that's awesome, and then you can leave yourself time to do that final project in the lecture. But I want you to be thinking about what your project will be from the ones that are listed there. Okay, and then the other thing that I want to mention is the scientific process or the scientific method. This is straight out of the overview from the lab for this week. Steps of the scientific method are as follows. I know that you have learned these before. I'm sure that you learned them in grade school. Make an observation, conduct background research, construct a hypothesis, test with an experiment, analyze, and come to a conclusion. Okay, those are the basic steps. It's never quite as easy as that, and there's much more to it than that. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that for just a minute because, of course, I've done science for a very long time. Make an observation. All right, this is not just an observation that you come out of the blue with. Oh, la-di-da-di-da, skipping through the forest and you see something. Okay, maybe you get an epiphany that way, but maybe it's a topic that you're really, really interested in. Okay, that's usually how it works in science. And so then you have to do a lot of background research, and I mean a lot. You have to become an expert on your topic. You have to read and read and read and read as much as you possibly can. Read the new information, read the old information, read all the information about your topic so that you know it backward and forward, how it's been experimented on, what results people have gotten over time, who are the experts in the field, all sorts of things like that. So it really takes a long time just to do the background research. Then, of course, you come up with a testable hypothesis that you will design an experiment to test. All right, then you do the experiment. Now, usually in a science class, all the way up through college, you only do an experiment once. Sometimes there are replications of the experiment, like you will do with the Alka-Seltzer experiment. You will actually do each of the 3 temperatures 3 times. So that's a replica. All right, in science, you do experiments way more than that. You would never do an experiment 3 times. You do that experiment over and 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 over again until you are sure that the results that you're getting are an actual phenomenon from what you've been testing. Okay? Because you have to be sure about this. You analyze the results as you go. You analyze the results in the end. You see if there's any statistical difference in what you're getting so that you can draw a conclusion. All right, even drawing a conclusion, that is not the end of the scientific process. Then you get your data and all of your experimentation published in a journal. So a journal is like a scientific magazine. And they come out every so often, and some of them are extremely specialized. Some of them are not. You know, there's one called Science. There's one called Nature. I got published in one called Electrophoresis. Yeah, doubt if you know what that is. So some of them are general and some of them are very specific. So you get your work published in a journal. And the point of this is to have your peers in this topic read through what you have written, the conclusions that you have come to, and they will tear you apart if anything is wrong. This process doesn't always work immediately, but eventually it will work. There has been fraud in science. There have been people who have lied about the results. There have been people who made up their results. There have been people who have stolen results, stolen ideas. You know, scientists are people. But the peer review process keeps everyone honest. And not only that, it's a check on your work to make sure you got true results. So the peer review process is very, very important. It is difficult to get your work published in a journal. Hardly ever do you send your work in and they say, oh yeah, thumbs up, great job, we're going to publish it. No, they usually say, all right, if you make these changes that your peers have suggested, then we will consider publishing it. And sometimes they just say, no, thank you, that's not even a topic that we want to explore. So peer review is extremely important for the scientific process. It keeps everyone honest. It keeps results true and honest. So I wanted to make sure that you understood that. The scientific method and the scientific process is not just step by step by step by step. It's a long, drawn-out process, but it's how science is done. And it's how it's done correctly and truthfully. So this is really important. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful week and you get started right away. Set aside some time for you to do these experiments because the experiments take a while. Definitely set some time aside. The graphing itself takes over an hour to do. It took me over an hour to do the graphing by hand and on the computer. The Alka-Seltzer experiment will take you a while to do because you have 3 replicates of 3 different temperatures of water. So it's going to take you a little while, and then you have to write up the report. So make sure you set aside enough time to do your work too. And as always, you will learn this from me. If you need me, just email me. I'm here for you. We can get together in all kinds of ways. But first of all, I need to know that there's a problem. So email me, m.sigmon@snhu.edu. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. Have a wonderful week.